Greetings everybody, it's Pathetic here, and here's some entities I've changed into the AU. Now these were going to be used in survival, but I didn't know how to modify things back then. But now, I do. Don't expect to see these guys ever again. So, on wave 1, you would have met this guy. His name is Hunter Newborn. I used the textures of the Hunchborn for the head and body, although as you can clearly see, the body is messed up. Also, he has 2 machetes. He replaces the fallen newborn and just acts like a newborn runner. Nothing too special. By the way, all of these enemies have increased health. I think. I don't remember good. This was filmed like a while back. As you can see, it's all bloody. It has 2 machetes. It's an enemy that I'm proud of. Here's a way much more closer look at it. You can see the head, the body. As you can tell, the Hunter Newborns, the Hunchborn textures weren't made for regular Teletubby models, but it's okay. Now on to the next enemy on wave 2, which is the Runner Newborns. It replaces the poison, and this is the Flameborn, or as I like to call it, the Pissborn, or the Sunborn. Either way, it's based on flames. It uses the textures from Forgotten Crystal Ground, and it just works like a regular runner. Yep, not too simple, not too shabby. And instead of poison, it uses the military announcer or Lawless flame attack. Here it is, way much more better. As you can see, it glows. Yeah, I'm overall happy with this. Now, on to wave 3, which is kind of mediocre because it doesn't have anything special. The Scout Droid is now called the Copper Droid. Now, I did mess up the texture for this. You can clearly see at the bottom, it's black. It wasn't supposed to be black, but I'm okay with it. It's a slightly bigger than the regular Scout Droid, and it does have way much more health. It did survive 3 slashes with the machete, I think. We're going to skip the range newborn and go on to the Electric Scorpion. It has a way much more larger range. It obviously shoots electricity. It's way much more dangerous, to be honest. Yeah, you wouldn't love this in a like cramped map. It would be horrible. But not as horrible as the next enemy, because that enemy is true hell. By the way, this would have appeared on wave 4, 1 wave earlier than it should have been. So yeah, I guess you can call this a replacement for the range newborn, but whatever. On wave 5, the mines would have been introduced, and they're way much more deadlier. Why? They have increased health. In fact, they can be compared to the exact same health as a weak boss from Boss Rush, like Inferno or Toxic. So you can't kill them, because when you kill a regular Spidermine, it just stays stationary and then explodes. But these guys, they just move around, and yeah. Now the Phantoms would also be on wave 5, and they would be called the Bloody Phantoms. Now, you can clearly see them. It's not that difficult, but whoa, as you saw, it does teleport. Yep, it can teleport. Both visible and invisible. Yeah, it's way deadlier. But I think I did reduce the teleportation timer. So it's more similar to a Bloodborne, which makes sense because this is supposed to be blood themed. Again, this appears 1 wave earlier than it should be, because normally Phantoms appear on wave 6. And if we go by that logic, what's the next enemy? That's right, the Warrior Droids, or in this case they're called the Combat Droids. Well, I mean, no, the Combat Warriors. I get them name mixed up. Now these are similar to your fallen soldiers. They just run periodically. they don't have the berserker mechanic where at a certain point they just run permanently. So yeah, it's kind of a downgrade. Also, if you couldn't tell, they're slightly bigger. Now we get to my good part. The penultimate, meet the Smasher Montes unit. Yeah, it's just mud, I guess. Now sadly, it does kill itself with its ability because it does take damage. But but as you saw, it does do Smiley's rock attack, so it would have done that instead of just the regular straight version. So a way much more dangerous version. But since it does take damage, it's technically nerfed itself. It still has the same HP as a regular Montes unit. But now, the best part. On Wave 8, you would have met the Encore Range Newborn. It's bigger, it has way much more health, it's red, it shoots out the Sentinel's rocket. Just imagine, it has a way much more easier time to shoot you. And in a cramped map, wow, how are you gonna deal with that? Teleporting phantoms and involved Montes units. And yes, it does use the berserker mechanic. It does run. This would have definitely been wild. Also, if you couldn't tell, yes, some of these do have their own I'm forgetting the name. Mesh. Yeah, I used meshes from other enemies. It took a while, but yeah. Anyways, here's a close-up of all of them, of all of these enemies. The Hunter Newborn, I mean. The Flame Runner. I think I could have done better with the color. The Copper Scout. Electric Scorpion. Now that's still called the Spidermine. I think I'm just gonna call it the Invincible Mine, the Bloody Phantom. Combat Warrior, and if you couldn't tell, I took inspiration from the Shopkeeper. And Encore Range Newborn and his friend Smash Montes unit. Now these guys do have albinos, some of them. Obviously, since it replaces the Fallen Soldier, that one doesn't have one. So keep in mind, the albinos are weird. Yeah, that's more piss color. This one is practically the exact same size, so it would be harder to notice. Now the next one is just WhatsApp. It's green, my favorite. The Weed Scorpion. The Spidermine would practically stay unchanged. It's just the exact same. The Bloody Phantom, it takes the word blood literally. Look, that's actual blood. And I kind of like the albino version. The warrior is just the same and smaller. The Range Newborn, the Smasher Montes units is still somewhat the same, just different. But the Encore Range Newborn, oh my gosh, it got smaller, and it's red. Yeah, it's so weird to look at. But yeah, these were all the regular enemies that were gonna appear here. Because, believe it or not, I changed the mini-bosses. So let's go to the Wave 2 mini-boss. No, this is not the CTS, this is what's called a Slugmug. Unfortunately, he has the same abilities, and as you saw, he dies way much more faster. Because all these mini-bosses have the same health as similar health as the Ocean Platform or the Arca variants. However, they have 100 plus more health. So yeah, he has the exact same abilities. So The only thing I really changed is slight coloration and, you know, some accessories gone. But it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, this is what the Slugmug is. Now the next one is quite a bit interesting. Meet the Electro Warriors. Now you may say, oh, aren't these just regular enemies? No, you silly goose. I modified their health. They're able to teleport. They're able to run automatically on their own. They're slightly more dangerous. Sure, they may not have the range, but they're still fast. Yeah, the Electro Warriors. Practically the exact same, although the blue is darker, I wish. Even if I did set it to a lighter blue, it still would have appeared just dark blue. Now this is the Supercharged Spider Speaker. Now, you can faintly see it, but it is slightly more bluer. It has the exact same abilities, but what's this? Yes, it's able to summon. Now that's cool. And these guys have the Berserker mechanic, where if they, or well, more like the Runner mechanic, if they take any type of damage, they run towards you. And they cannot teleport, which is good. Also, look at that, they synchronize. Nice. Now, these guys do have their own name. They're called Scout Speakers. Overall, not too deadly. Now, they have 350 HP. And one thing I wish I did is just change the range of it and the damage output. But again, this was made during when I was like, oh, I give up. I don't know how to modify things. So, yeah, if I did focus on this more, I would have easily just, you know, polished it way much more. And just like the Spider Speaker, it's slightly more blue. Now we go to the Wave 5 mini boss, because obviously you met Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4, Wave 5. Meet the Slashborns. They replace Gian, and overall I'm kind of disappointed that Gian's arms, or you know, tendrils, whatever you like to call them, isn't a separate object. It's just, or a separate texture. It's just one thing. But this is the best I could come up with. They have the exact same abilities, however they are not able to summon. So technically a nerf, but whatever. I guess you can say they act more like Wendigos, but take it or leave it. I like what I did. And besides, I don't think anybody would be happy fighting these guys. Yeah, here's a closer look. I'm more happy that the blood textures all over the place. That's a good thing. Now, Wave 6, it's kind of anticlimactic. The Queen Arachnid. It does have some makeup, and it does spawn those guys. No, those are not Siberi, whatever you fucking say it. Those are Poison Tarantula. If you want to know how to pronounce it, say Tarantula, but remove la, Tarant. I immediately forgot the name, but Poison Tarantula. Okay, Tarantula. Just say Tarantula. Yeah, they have the exact same mechanic as the Scout Speakers. And also, for everybody that summons, they are able to summon like much more bigger. They have way much more people. I'm glad what I did to it. Although the Queen Arachnid, it just only has, it's just slightly bigger and only has one accessory, so kind of disappointed I didn't make more. Now, I really don't know what I was thinking here, but meet the Elite Droids Mark II. Yes, I couldn't come up with a unique name. And yes, you see that right? They shoot the Executioner's Ball. Now I didn't want to give them Tinky Winky's tanks, or in this case, primordial Tinky Tank shield to them. However, I couldn't successfully do it because for one, the shield would just stay in place, and two, they would damage themselves while doing it. So yeah, that did not work out. Now, the General Newborn. How am I supposed to upgrade the General Newborn? Simple. Make it bigger. His name is the Giga Commander Newborn. Just kidding. That's what its name would be. His name is just the Giga General. And you see that right. That's a tiny Inferno, or a tiny Arson Keel, or Keel Arson, or Arson Born, whatever. I forget names. He does have a larger spawn pool, and these guys are able to throw flamethrowers, have slightly more health, I think 500, and as you see, occasionally they try to shoot fireballs, but they can't. Like I said before, I would have polished it more if I was doing all of this, but keep in mind, it took me like, I think 3 or 4 hours just to get to this part. Also, I didn't comment on it, but yeah, he uses Sagaris's slam attack, crystal attack, rock attack, whatever they're called. Way much more dangerous since it's way much more instant. Also, his health, instead of being 9,000, it's 10,000. He can. If I didn't change Inferno, he could. I bet you two of them could practically solo. Well, not solo him. It's a 2v1, but you got my point. They could practically withstand Inferno 1, maybe 2, maybe no Inferno 1, Toxic 1, and Arcadian. Look at that little guy trying to chase me and kill me. Too bad he's slow. And he still caught up to me. Now I didn't change the Wendigos. They're called Frostdigos. I would have changed. Their texture would have been slightly bluer to the blue side. And in survival, you know how they can't teleport. In this version, they could teleport. So I guess nothing would have really changed. And also, yes, I did change the MSR. It's called the Military Announcer Mark II. It only has more health. And it's green. Also, just realizing now, since it's technically green, it's technically just me. So I guess it can summon me. But that's not it still. There's still one more surprise. Albeit this surprise is more of an extra and not a boss thing that I would have encountered. I forgot to show you the albinos. The Slugmug is just orange. The Electro Warrior is just darker blue. Most of the robots stay the same, so nothing much. I guess since I changed the texture slightly, they're slightly more bluer. You can see the accessory way much more clearly on her. Obviously, since Gian is the boss, they get no albino variants, which is sad. You can see the black accents more clearly on this guy. The Giga Wendigo and Speaker, they just stay the same. Although I think the Wendigo's albino would have been much more bluer, because I was gonna change this texture to blue, but he's white, so yeah. And here's the Poison Tarantu. No, it did get a size increase, but other than that, it's just bland. Anyways, here's the real surprise. Meet these guys, the Shadow clones. And as you can see, they're inspired by 3 and 4R. I wasn't gonna fight these guys in survival. I was just messing around because it was taking too long. Now, originally, 3 and 4R was gonna be able to summon these because his, projectile attack was gonna be a summon ability, but it didn't really work. Also, he's slightly bigger, but that also means he's slightly weaker. He has way much more health, but weaker. But anyways, here's gonna be a simulation on how it would have went if I did do this. Now, I didn't know which map I was gonna do it on. It wasn't gonna be Afterlife, but here's what it would have been if it was Afterlife. So I hope you enjoy this battle, and when 3 and 4R dies, the video ends. So goodbye, have fun watching me die.